Creating self-regulated learners. The aim for children to self-reflect on their writing in order to make improvements. My class can talk about their learning when I ask them to and are reliant on teacher feedback. Reflection is not self-regulated, it is teacher-led. For my first assignment, I found that the reason why children weren't reflecting is because they were reliant on teacher feedback. So I set about putting into place ways in which they could reflect themselves, looking at how to reflect and putting in place tools which they can use to help them reflect as well. I observed their practice and realised at the end of the lesson, they said, "Oh, I finished my work." And here was a perfect example. When I asked him to go back and check his work, he was able to do so, even commenting on the fact that, "Oh, I made an error here, but I fixed it." From this, I needed to rethink what the cause was. Fisher says evaluation was most often initiated by the teacher and left to the plenary session at the end of the lesson. However, it was clear when students did ask for evaluation, children were able to evaluate their writing and the strategies they had used to complete it. And my example in class was a perfect example of this. Looking into my practice and the teacher as an inquirer, I went back to our school inquiry model that encouraged me to look further at the issue and investigate the root cause as to why this was happening. So I went back and did some research on the aspect. Turner and Paris talk about having a classroom programme that provides authentic opportunities for reading and writing in order to allow students to become actively involved in learning and motivating them. That tasks influence student affect, such as desire to read and write, understanding of the goals of literacy, and self-regulation as readers and writers, by Turner and Paris. I can conclude that in order to enable my class to take a more active role in self-regulation and reflection, I need to provide tasks that give them authentic opportunities to write and motivate them to reflect. So in this assignment, I looked into innovations that could encourage them to self-regulate and reflect based on authentic learning experiences that they could identify with. My first idea was digitally and collaboratively reflecting on their own work. It was something I've begun to try in class in order to develop reflection before my additional research. They videoed each other, showing that they had the skills to reflect. However, it was skill teaching, and according to readwritethink.org, the skills are useful, but having authentic writing produces lifelong learners that can apply writing in a range of contexts. I needed to think deeper and reflect on what I could do in order to create more authentic writing tasks for my class. I came up with collaboratively writing an information pack on Harikigi, and it would be a group project based on our term's inquiry study. This was a good idea because it's something that the children are already involved in learning about. They've had lots of practical experiences. However, I was thinking this might be more focused on the outcome rather than the processes involved. So will this innovation allow for them to have opportunities to reflect? Another idea is to write storybooks for our new entrant buddy class, a more creative project which the class can identify with, and our buddy class only started school at the beginning of the term, so my class are very excited about any opportunity they can have involving them. Another idea is using a digital tool to interview students in order for them to write and create a movie about our school for the centenary. This idea may be better for something later in the year. Russ Brown Story Starts competition. This is an idea that I've used with previous classes. It's getting students to collaboratively write stories to be reviewed for an online audience. Very authentic. A small project with instant recognition. It would encourage the competitiveness and the love of competition that my boys have. Being a blog news reporter. This is a digital platform for children to share with the parents and the community, but is it the best way to encourage them to reflect on their learning? Corresponding with another class or school. Both parties would need to be involved in the writing process in order for it to be collaborative and would involve some form of peer tutoring. There are many ways I could do this, through just making up links with another school or through quad blogging. Choose Your Own Adventure, a hypertext writing experience. The students will collaboratively start the adventure, then break out into groups for the splits. It would use a web-based program to hyperlink together. This idea came from readwritethink.org, but it is recommended for older students than what I'm teaching. Education focus. In consultation with my class, we decided on creating a storybook for our buddy class. Why a storybook? This will allow students to work collaboratively on a project. With a definite purpose, they can follow the writing process from start to finish. This will highlight the need to reflect and improve their writing to ensure it meets the purpose. Students can even coach each other during various stages of the process for further emphasis on audience and greater collaboration during editing. readwritethink.org. As this is one of their first collaborative projects, it is also something that I believe will be achievable for my Year 3s. Will this suit my purpose, though, of allowing students to become more reflective when they're writing? Well, yes, according to educatorstechnology.com, storytelling, it is a reflective process that helps students reflect upon their learning and find deep connections with the subject matter of a course or with an out-of-class experience. Telling a story is a powerful way to communicate with others, and when this storytelling is combined with a set of powerful digital tools, it becomes a truly authentic learning experience that helps students develop a wide range of intellectual skills. educatorstechnology.com. So referring back to readwritethink.com, where storytelling enhances the opportunities for reflection, Educators Technology backs that up with saying how the digital tools will make that an even more important process. So, digital planning tools will enable my children to manipulate the ideas in the planning stages. Previous collaboration tasks in class have had to be managed carefully because you usually get some arguments over who's reading upside down and arguing over who is doing the writing. Providing an online platform such as Google Docs will take this away and allow the children to be able to work collaborative in a more constructive way. Further into the process, when children have done all their planning, when children start to publish it into a book, using a publishing tool such as Book Creator or Story Jumper will suit the purpose of creating a book. This will then enable the class to add images, sound, and music. And if we want to take it a step further, we can make it more interactive for the younger age group so they can have it read to them. Also, it can ask them questions as well. I referred earlier to a digital aspect would allow better collaboration, but what is collaboration? According to ITL research, collaboration involves the shared responsibility and making substantive decisions together. It is not a group task where students each write an individual page for the story and then put it all together. The task will focus on the process element of collaboration. Process: students must plan what they will do, when to do it, what tools they will use, or the roles and responsibility for the people in the team. My students will work in group to create their storybooks. They will need to work as a group to plan, write, and publish their group books. They will need guidance and resources, but the decisions will be the responsibility of the group. This will make it a true collaboration and not just individuals completing a group task. It will also involve them having to reflect on their own practices in order to make sure the task is completed. In order to maximise the learning experience, as my class is adversed in solo, the students could construct a rubric that displays what they are trying to achieve. This will work alongside what we already have in place in the classroom. According to Costa and Kallick, in order for reflection to be embedded in the student's practice, it needs to be an active experience, acting on a process and applying their learning. By adding collaboration into the project of creating a class book, it will be something that allows them to act on their process and apply their learning into something they are interested in completing. The impact. This will be a digital and collaborative learning experience which will be more meaningful for the children in class. By adding meaning, it will make the task more purposeful. With a definite purpose, I am hoping that it will encourage the children to be self-aware of their learning and reflect on what they're trying to achieve and the skills they are using. This theory is backed up by the research I've conducted, so hopefully creating a storybook for the younger children will encourage reflection amongst the students in my classroom.